Oh, what do we have here? Today we have wife doesn't realize police know she's the killer. Ooh. Thank you guys for tuning in. Without further ado, let's get it.
Lori, for all intents and purposes, it looks like you might have had something to do with Larry's death.
Oh.
Because I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Lori Eisenberg. 1 month
She looks scary as fuck.
ago, Lori lured her husband to a desolate part of this Idaho lake, surrounded with forests, and drowned Larry more than 200 feet to the bottom of it.
What?
Lori thought that with her acting, no one would notice what she had done.
I was trying to grab him.
Okay.
I couldn't find him. And then it just started to fall.
But she has no idea that at this very moment she isn't a victim. She is a murder suspect.
She killed her own husband?
Because clue,
Larry is autopsied, and there is a large quantity of Benadryl.
after clue,
What?
proved that detectives have been
Why would you put that in there?
sitting in front of a killer from the very beginning.
So the end result
Oh.
is, quite frankly, did you kill Larry or didn't you kill Larry?
She did it.
On the cold winter morning of
She
February
did it!
13th, 2018, dispatch in rural Idaho received a panic 911 call from 64-year-old Lori Eisenberg.
Her face just looks sinister and evil, doesn't it? Fuck, she gives me the heebie-jeebies.
911, what's the address to your emergency?
I'm on the lake.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you. What's the address?
I'm on the lake, but I don't know where. My husband he had a stroke and he fell over. He's gone. I've been looking for him for hours.
Quickly, search and rescue and law enforcement were dispatched to Lake Coeur d'Alene. Search and rescue got to work patrolling the lake in an effort to find Larry. Meanwhile, law enforcement questioned Lori about the events leading up to Larry allegedly falling off the boat.
Hey, Lori. My name's Deputy Baum, and I'm with the
Yeah, because you would have called the police as soon as that happened, right?
Sheriff's Office. I'm just going to
Or am I wrong?
so we can kind of figure out where to go from here. Okay. Can you tell me, how'd you get the bloody nose?
I fell down.
You fell down.
So
Okay.
she fell against
I
the
was
door.
trying to
She was
grab
trying
him.
to-
Okay. All right. Well, we got.
Couldn't find him.
So why you ain't just park the boat, stop it, and then look for him?
We got the best people out there looking for him right now. Okay. So we're gonna do what we can. But can you tell me about how far you were when he fell in?
Closer to this side, I think.
Okay, closer to this side. Okay. Did you see any houses or big trees or landmarks?
In the water.
Okay. It's
No,
okay.
I didn't see.
About how far do you think it was away
From what?
from where you got picked up by the fireboat? About how far from the shore do you think? Maybe. That's okay.
She said he believes he might have had a medical episode that caused him to fall into the water.
It was actually
Medical episode of what? You put him to sleep with Benadryl?
said he didn't feel good and he was doing things weird, and then he went up to the motor and the motor wasn't broken, it was the other motor.
Okay.
And then I said, "Why are you doing that?" And he
Mm-hmm.
turned to look at me and his face just looked
Okay.
That story does not sound
awful, and
believable.
he just started to fall, and I tried to get the door open and get to him, and I couldn't grab him, and I fell,
Okay. Okay.
and then I didn't see him.
Well, like I said, we have the best people out there looking for him, okay? Very good divers, very good rescue team that's out looking for him, okay? But if you can think of anything, if while they're checking you out, if you can think of any landmarks or anything that you may have seen, and I know it's kind of hard to think about right now, but if you think of anything, please let us know, okay?
Lori
Somebody
was visibly
lying.
distressed at the scene, and though from the outside it looked
They always are. They are always fucking are distressed at the scene. Of course they are.
like Larry had simply had a medical issue and fallen overboard, there were still some red flags popping up in the supposedly grieving widow's story.
Ooh, she make me nervous. I do not trust them eyes. Lord, them eyes always tell it. There's nothing but evilness in them eyes.
Namely,
Fuck.
the fact that it had taken her
Oh, fuck. Yeah, he couldn't sense that? I would have been like, hell no.
several hours to call the police, which she blamed on not being able to locate his cell phone on the boat. And, according to her, she was
So you ain't got what? You ain't got your own cell phone?
trying to get to shore, but because of the broken engine, it was a struggle to get anywhere. Outside, the lead investigator pulls a brand new trainee aside to give him some words of wisdom. That someone can appear to be a victim, but may in fact be the perpetrator, or vice versa.
got
That
quite a
part.
bloody nose. She says she fell down trying to catch him and busted her nose on the boat.
That don't even sound right. That sounds like some bullshit.
Pretty freaked out. So in this case, in cases like this, if you don't lose suspicion, if you're picking up on weird shit, keep that in mind. But when you're talking to them, hey, we're doing our best. We got good people out there working.
Lori was brought to the hospital so medical professionals could take a look at her bloody nose. Detectives met her there following her assessment in order to ask her a few questions. Questions which only brought up more questions.
So let's fast forward up to the point where he starts having his medical issue. Kind of explain that part to me.
Yeah, how do you have a medical issue in the middle of the ocean? I mean, out there, out in the middle of nowhere. I'm sorry.
He had said something about, I'm sort of waking up and he said something about the resort.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said, there's the resort. We were going to go to it for breakfast because he said something about the resort. So I was sort of like, okay, time to wake up. We're going to go to breakfast. And, chatted a few minutes. Again, I wasn't tracking time. And then he stood up. And he sort of, matter of fact, I think it broke the key. He sort of leaned on the key, sort of odd the way he did it. And I just sort of looked at him because he just sort of got it fast.
Mm-hmm.
It was, we weren't fishing. It wasn't like, oh, wow, watch the fishing boat or anything like that. And he said.
You remember him leaning on that key? Well.
Let me.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't Yes, I don't know that I saw him lean on the key, but I think I saw him do something that made me think that.
Okay.
And then later when I tried to start the motor, the key was bent.
It is bent, yeah.
Do these people really be listening to themselves when they tell these type of stories? Because this shit sounds so weird. It never sounds good. It never sounds believable at all.
And it's the choke thing. Oh. No, that had happened earlier because so that was a little bit earlier that he had done that, and then it wouldn't start again, and so then he took it out and he saw the key was bent, and there's two little bolts or something that had fallen off.
This is a detail that investigators immediately flagged as odd. The ignition key for the boat had been bent, not just a little bit, but completely. Something that would have taken a great deal of force to do. Initially, they suspected that it had been snapped in some kind of struggle or fall against the key while it was in the ignition.
And then he said something about the motor wasn't working right. He stood up, and the motor was in the back. And he opened up the thing to go out on you saw the boat. So he went out on the front and closed it. And he went over to the electric motor. I said, honey, what are you doing? And he said, well, the motor's not working right. I said, we're not using that motor. And I'm sitting in the chair here. I'm looking at him. It's right there. He did and he was working the motor like this, and then he just sort of looked back at me like that. And he'd been sort of bent down with the motor, and then he stood up. He stood up quick, and he sort of looked at me, and his face just looked, I can't describe, it just looked blank. And then he just turned, so now he's that way, and I think he was.
I don't believe this shit.
I think he, it's so hard. But I think he was reaching for the
window or the glass or something.
Right there. And so then I jumped up out of my seat, but he had closed the window thing.
And you ain't put the boat in neutral or take it out of gear and see what was going on?
There. And he's falling. And so I jumped up out of my seat and I had to push that. And I think that's when I fell because I was grabbing for him as he was falling over. And then he just fell in. And he didn't come up. I mean, I saw his sweatshirt and the boat was still going. And so I ran because I couldn't see him, and I thought, well, the boat's going, and that's not good. So then I was trying to run back in, and the zipper things were there, and I tripped and fell there, and then got those up and looked, and I couldn't see him there either.
I don't buy this story. Do you guys buy this story? I don't buy this story not one bit.
I turned to my left. I looked on that side.
And when you said the motor was still going, the gas motor is what you're talking about, right? So that one was still running when he fell in.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was idling or something like that.
Right, that's what he was saying.
So you weren't up on plane or anything, but it was still running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going very fast.
Okay.
So then I looked and he wasn't there, and then I ran over and I looked on the other side. And of course was screaming and then went back up to the front, and he never came back up. And I thought he'd come back up. I was going to throw him a life jacket or something. And he just wasn't there. And so then I just kept, sort of running back and forth and calling his name. And I
Why you ain't jumping there with him?
couldn't see him. And then I just started driving the boat thinking, maybe I'd see him.
People who are grieving and experiencing trauma do some strange things. But guilty people do things that are, shall we
Guilty actions, yeah.
say, facepalm worthy. According to Lori, she drove around for nearly an hour and a half just looking for Larry before she decided to look for help. Then she drove around the lake.
What the fuck was a bear? Did y'all just see that? Am I tripping? It was a
Facepalm
bear in the
worthy.
water behind him?
According to Lori, she
What the hell?
drove around for nearly an hour and a half just looking for Larry before she decided to look for help. Then she drove around the lake using their backup engine, trying to find civilization so she could have someone call the police. Until finally, several hours after the supposed love of her life fell in the lake, she found his cell phone in the boat and then called police.
Ooh, that is such a sinister look, y'all. It's like, y'all remember seeing Annabelle, how Annabelle had that evil look? She gives that same look off in real life. That is freaky.
And while that story alone is unbelievable, she couldn't even stick to it. Throughout her various interrogations, Lori tells police 3 separate locations where she found the cell phone. At this point, police are obviously suspicious of her.
Hey, yeah.
In the midst of the search for Larry, she's arrested for a completely different crime.
What is that
One
for?
that makes her story even more suspicious.
My kids had a lot of medical expenses and things, and I just wanted to help them, and I thought I could pay it back. I didn't take any of it. I mean, I know I'm taking it when I take it and help my kids.
Are we talking a lot of money? I don't know
Yeah.
how much money.
Probably
Just
about
a guess.
200,000 over a couple of years.
Okay.
And I told them I can pay it back.
Hold on. Say that again. She did what?
Are we talking a lot of money? I don't know how much money.
Hold on. We got to rewind that back.
One that makes her story even more suspicious.
My kids had a lot of medical expenses and things, and I just wanted to help them, and I thought I could pay it back. I didn't take any of it. I mean, I know I'm taking it when I take it and help my kids.
Are we talking a lot of money? I don't know how much money.
Probably
Just
about
a guess.
200,000.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And I told them I can pay it back.
Lori worked as the executive director for a nonprofit organization called the North Idaho Housing Coalition, a company that she embezzled $500,000 from in just a 4-year period. Ultimately, she was arrested and booked for 1 count of grand theft and 40 counts of forgery. Yes, 40. And while that crime was hefty enough, police still had murder on their mind. But charging for murder is incredibly challenging when you don't have physical evidence to back it up.
Oh, I'm sorry. This fucking me up, y'all. Hold on. She what?
As the executive director for a nonprofit organization called the North Idaho Housing Coalition.
Okay.
A company that she embezzled $500,000 from in just a 4-year period. Ultimately, she was arrested and booked for 1 count of grand theft and 40 counts of forgery.
But what the fuck that got to do with him though? That's a whole different thing, right? Or does it tie into each other? Because I want to know, like Joe.
Yes, 40. And while that crime was hefty enough, police still had murder on their mind.
Okay. W. Melly Granny?
For murder is incredibly challenging when you don't have physical evidence to back it up. Due to the frigid temperatures of the lake Larry was believed to have drowned in, police expected that they may never find his body. Cold lakes rarely give up their dead because the freezing temperatures prohibit decay, which results in bodies often resting on the lake bottom for years.
Ooh.
But in this case, police caught a break.
She was smart as fuck for that.
And Larry's family were given answers, no matter how tragic.
Oh.
Body on our shoreline.
What?
Right outside of our house.
On March 1st, police responded to the lake.
Look at God. Won't he do it? Won't he do it, Chad?
And quickly identified the body of 68-year-old father Larry Eisenberg. He was sent for an autopsy, and there police discovered the final nail in the coffin for Lori. While awaiting trial for her forgery and embezzlement charges, Lori was brought in for questioning.
Hi, Lori. Hello, Lori. How are you doing? I don't know if you remember me, Ken. I came to visit you when you turned yourself in at Whitney.
I think so.
Yeah, you remember Kurt. I talked at your house. How are you
Yes,
doing?
good.
Have a seat. Relax.
She don't even look like she's supposed to be in prison.
How are things going?
But that look, though, she got that sinister, evil ass look.
Actually, well,
Yeah. We were quite shocked to hear that they still had you in town.
yeah.
Figured they'd be shipping you down to going to Dublin.
Yes, it's been weird that some people have gone and I'm still here, so.
Yeah. Which is okay for us. Because I didn't want to have to go. Hey, so we talked a long time ago, and we're towards the end of everything that has to do with our stuff, and we thought that we would stop over either a one-part or two-part thing and just share it with you and see if you'd be interested in hearing what we have to say and allow you to give your point on things.
This is finna be good, because now she finna figure out why she ain't left yet. She thought she was getting picked up on the embezzlement, but embezzled the body.
If you're agreeable to that, we can talk, but we leave it up to you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, because you're in custody, even though we're not gonna per se be talking about the thing that you were convicted. By the way, everything's final on that now.
Yes.
So the end result is
5 years.
5 years, of which do they have good time in the federal system?
Yes.
So you'll be
3 to 4.
if you behave, which I can't see you not behave.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're in custody.
She just don't know. That smile on her face and that understanding, that shit finna go right out the window.
Still, and we're going to be talking to you about a case where there's potential charges. So, did you, or I think the last time you were probably interviewed was by Special Agent Gunnison. Did he read your Miranda then? Did he explain to you your rights and everything then?
I'm sure.
Okay. Well, so basically, there's 5 basic points.
Lori's read her Miranda rights, and the detective wastes no time getting right down to business.
I'm just trying to go over the version that I have and ensure that it's correct. So, Mr. Romance, Larry, and you guys have been not feeling well for a while, and he came up with a romantic deal that, hey, why don't we go out on the lake and see the sunrise and then cruise up to Coeur d'Alene Lake Resort or Coeur d'Alene Resort. Is that pretty much accurate?
Oh, man, I would have been wanting BJs and beers. I'm trying to tell you, the whole ride there.
Okay. You guys headed to the lake early that morning. Got on a boat. When you kind of
Why would y'all be on the lake when it's cold as hell, though? That's crazy.
And then you woke up and Larry was acting different, so to speak, saying something's wrong with the motor. And it kind of progressed from there. Went up front, tried to work with the trolling motor, and then looked back with I think it was an ashen flush in a couple of descriptions, and then as though he had a stroke and then fell into the water. Is that fairly accurate as far as the course of events?
Yeah? Or is it not?
I thought he had a stroke. I didn't know what was wrong.
Right, I understand. But so something happened, and then he basically just, for lack of better,
Like, didn't I tell y'all that Smile was finna go away? Look, she dead ass serious. She done went into killer mode now.
or tipped over with the water. Pretty much. And then obviously you kept going around for a while trying to find him, and then ultimately you were able to locate the phone. One of the areas that was a little confusing is the different areas of which You had mentioned that you found a phone. Detective Jackson, who was a diver, he was a dive rescue dude. You found it when you're looking for, or when you're getting a blanket to get warm. So Detective Jackson, I believe it was, you found it within the blanket with medical personnel. You mentioned you found it in a coat pocket. And then I believe with me, you found it on the dash.
Which one is it? We want to know, like Joe.
Which is the accurate one?
What everything I told you was accurate.
Okay.
I don't.
So with me, so it was on the dash. Okay. So going through everything and looking at everything, there are a lot of questions that come up. And obviously, I'm sure that you've been able to see the affidavit that was published over at Spokane.
She better have.
And I don't know how much, it was released by the paper. It'd be the one that was in the paper. Okay. So we have a lot of questions that we need to kind of dial in at the end of it so that when we present it to the prosecutor, they have an accurate reflection of exactly what it is that's there. So we know that obviously there were some things that went on with the coalition. And then we know that there's Larry's portion. And as I talked about before, you're always going to have those people who link the two and say that, that you killed Larry. So the end result is, quite frankly, did you kill Larry or didn't you kill Larry?
The moment of truth. Did you kill your husband?
And that's what we got to dial the facts in to support one way or another. Because in the end, our opinions don't matter at all. It's only what the facts reflect. Does that make sense? A lot of people think based on TV that we're the ones that put you in prison, and that's not reality. Reality is all we do is collect facts, present them to the prosecutor, same as Detective Bryant, or Dennis, excuse me, did with theirs, referred on. So with that being said, is there anything that you can think about that in our initial conversation that after all this time would be different? Okay. So then we come to the part where Larry is autopsied and they do toxicology on it. And there is a large quantity of diphenhydramine, aka Benadryl, aka, but really wouldn't be a cough medicine. It's pretty much a Benadryl situation. And we're trying to figure out what happened. Any ideas?
The toxicology report came back with evidence that he had 7,100 nanograms per liter of diphenhydramine in his blood.
What is that?
The therapeutic level is anywhere between 100 to 1,000 nanograms per liter. The dose that he had been given was lethal. On the boat, in Lori's purse, police had actually discovered an empty bottle of allergy medicine containing diphenhydramine and an empty bottle of juice.
What the fuck is that?
Which they believe was used to hide the taste of the crushed up pills. Evidence from the autopsy also proved that when Larry was put into the water, he was already dead. In other words, he had overdosed on the boat and then been rolled into the water by the only person with him.
I knew she was evil as fuck. I told you she'd give me them Annabelle Chucky eyes.
His wife of 15 years.
Wow.
When you guys went down to the boat ramp, can you kind of recall, just kind of walk me through your trip down there? My understanding is that you left around 5 o'clock-ish.
I think I'm not going to change anything from my statement.
Okay. Well, Lori, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, don't cry now. It's too late to apologize.
Within your phone records, there's a lot of things within your Facebook records that will lead one to believe that it's something other than what it is. And
Lori, can I ask you a question? Going on your computer searches, when you went to Florida, you've got searches about depth charts, whether you can vote like they do at night. There's a lot of stuff there.
Why? Why do you have that type of stuff? Why were you looking up that type of shit?
Can you explain that?
Smart answer. That was a really smart answer.
I think if you're going to start asking me questions like that, I should have my attorney here.
Good. And that's what we're going to be doing, because that's what we need to conclude the case. So who...
She should have been asking for her lawyer as soon as they started opening up their mouth.
Do you have a retained attorney right now? Okay. So
If I was her, I'd be shaking in my boots right now. Already got me down on embezzlement and murder. Oh wow.
in essence, unless you can think that that's basically what we need to know. We need to know the end result. And the idea is to give you a chance to explain some of these facts before we present to the prosecutor.
I don't think we say things that I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know. Of things that have come up, I don't know where people are coming up with these things. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's why we're here talking to you.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to find out.
And because honestly, I've lost a lot of trust. Some of the things that they've said, I know are not true. I wish I could just talk to you.
Some of the things you said.
That they've been in the paper, this supposedly an anonymous source said or something, and I wish I could talk to you because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
So let us not ask questions. Let us explain so that you're aware, so that you'll be fully apprised. You'll at least have something to be able to do. So we know that obviously prior to the 24th, that there was activities going on in the coalition. We know that on the 24th in the morning that you were advised that you would be suspended based on that stuff, and you clearly offered to assist them and in what they needed to do. We know that on the 25th, after seeing other things, that the board decided that it was best to let you go, and then you were advised on the 26th by paper. We know on the 26th that you were contacted, which the phone call was relatively short, and you called them right back. And then the result of that was whatever you do, you'll tell Larry or something to that effect, because I want to be that person to tell him. That was on the 26th. We also know on the 26th that you made, or 25th or 26th, that you made airline reservations to go to Florida.
What you going to Florida for though?
Based on what the president is, you couldn't meet with them because these reservations and so forth have been made for a long time. And my trip. However, in your emails to your daughter, you put the spoiler alert, let them know that you're going to Florida, and then Larry and talking to Mike said, "Yeah, we'll already changed our plans. We're not going south. We're going to be going to Florida." That's on the 26th. We know that you guys left on the 28th, but on the 27th, you're researching
They're not even interrogating her there. They're just giving her a breakdown of the timeline to see if she's gonna crack or not.
On your phone regarding and on behalf of you see this is just the end result.
What?
Seven, you're researching drowning articles on the Florida Gulf, Cape Canaveral drownings, boating accidents, and so forth. And then on the 28th, you had left to go south. During your time frame in the first couple of days that were down there, you literally have hundreds of searches that relate to, maybe not hundreds, but a lot, that relate to boat rentals, that relate to depths of waters, that relate to fishing, relate to various aspects of the water thereof. And
she really tried to delete all of this shit? Girl, you going to jail.
This is the deep water and so forth. When you guys come back, all of which during the first phase that you go down there, we noted that before that time, there was very few searches regarding anything to do with the water. When you came back on the 8th,
words.
On the 8th or 9th, you had commented that Larry had a flu bug to Jessica and then to a couple other people that you guys weren't feeling good. However, his conversation with the doctor reflected, yeah, on the trip, I feel like I might have had some type of bug, but then nothing else relates any illness whatsoever. And talking to the doctor and talking to your neighbors, I don't know, because a neighbor's a neighbor, you never know if they're friends or foes. She again said, yeah, if Larry would have had anything wrong with him, he would have come up and said, hey, what do I do? Would have said that.
Ooh, they got this shit down to a pack. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd be a little nervous. Not gonna cap to you. Like, wait a minute now. Damn.
The 11th.
Like, they breaking the whole timeline down to her, little by little. You see that look of worry on her face? That evil look went all the fuck away, didn't it?
Going forward just a little bit. The 11th, there was some checking into, why are people dying of flu? We started checking depths of waters in Lake Ponderay, can't be on the lake at night, distance to Whiskey Rock, which is the deepest part of the lake there. And then that's followed up by you actually being, or your phone being in Ponderay, or more specifically in Bayview on the morning of the 12th, between 2 and about 4 o'clock, and being there for a significant amount of time.
Now, we're going to break something down a little bit. Lori was fired from her job for embezzlement on January 26, 2018. The very next day, she and Larry went to Florida on a planned vacation, where Lori made several incriminating searches relating to drowning deaths off the coast, where they went fishing. During the trip, Larry reportedly fell incredibly ill. Detectives believe that this was the result of a failed attempt at murder, likely due to Lori administering too little medication. When the couple returned to Idaho, however, she decided to change tactics. Surprisingly, the boat ride was Larry's idea. He wanted to take Lori out on a sunrise cruise to show that he appreciated her.
Wow. He wanted to show that, and she wanted to kill him.
Response, she killed him.
And then,
that's crazy.
On the 13th,
Go take a bath. Bye.
we know that you guys were down at the
Go to
boathouse.
sleep.
We know that you left your house and you at least your phone hits the tower right at Micah about 6-ish, 6:30-ish. So we know that you were there then. And then we know that you were at the boat ramp at 6:40 because that's when the picture was taken. And then the text message is sent out based on a very short clip, of which has been, I mean, we're talking a second, maybe second and a half of a male voice. We assume that Larry was alive at that point. However, we know that between 6:40 and 10 o'clock, if he was alive at that point, that something happened and then he fell in the water. The autopsy did not divulge anything that was stroke related. And I would, as far as a factual point, I would refer that to the actual doctors. I'm saying that they mentioned or heart related, but the contributing factors were a lethal dose of basically diphenhydramine, which it could be Benadryl crushed up, it could be, there's several products that have it in it.
Wow.
So we do know. We know that Larry was alive based on what we know on the 13th at 6:40. We know that Larry was deceased. I think we can relatively assume that by 10:30, I think it's about 10:23 actually is when you make the call. We know that between those times that there were lethal levels of diphenhydramine in the system.
It be your damn. Sometimes you'll be fucking around and be sleeping with the enemy the whole time and don't even know it.
Have you ever taken Benadryl before?
Benadryl? Yes.
Okay. How many do you take when you take it? 2? Does it make you kind of, it does make 2. That's nice.
Why you need 2? Should I be knocked off of 1?
So this, in a rough scenario based on Dr. King, who's the coroner, and it's only an estimate, he said that would have to be a fairly healthy amount of diphenhydramine to make him that way. In essence, whatever got to his system, if he was alive at 6:40 and he fell overboard, let's say that it was anywhere between half an hour to an hour before you would call. So let's even do that. 6:40 to, oh, math brother, so 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
6:40 to 8 o'clock. Someplace in that time frame, Larry would have had to consume a large amount of diphenhydramine. And as you know from taking it yourself, diphenhydramine, depending on who you are and how much you take, acts pretty quick. For me, I have to take it all the time because I have allergies, and I would say if I take 2 a half an hour, I'm pretty much loopy. You know, I don't know what it is with you. So it would act fairly quickly.
Shit, I'll probably be overdosing if I take 2 of them joints. I ain't gonna lie to you.
And it would be,
What do you mean she take 2? That's crazy in itself.
For all intents and purposes, based on the research that I have and the doctors that I spoke to, would make them borderline unfunctional. So those are kind of the facts that are there. Those are the things that you need to think about. Lori, for all intents and purposes, it looks like you might have had something to do with Larry's death.
He took a long time to say that shit.
I want to know anything that you can provide that would help explain these things away. Because the facts that will go to the prosecutor are the very facts that I presented to you. And those facts are supported by, well, they pretty much are a timeline off your phone, Facebook stuff, emails that might have been there, other people's text messages that were there, and timelines. And I guess the big thing for me is I look at you and I look at his relationship, your relationship, and everybody that I talk to talks how much of a picture-perfect relationship you guys have.
How much you guys love each other.
Because I ask everybody, do you think that Lori would be capable of harming Larry? Very few people, in fact, and kind of on one hand, thought that you would be capable of doing it. And those people, I would say half of them, I'd have to write them off because they're letting some other stuff talk. The one that was the most interesting to me was who said, I don't think she could, and that if she did, I would have to almost keep it in my mind unless I knew for sure that it was like a mercy killing. Like, if it indeed happened, she did not want Larry to know what had happened, and for the disagreement, or not the disagreement, but the
That is her to the T. He just described her to the T, like right there.
The disappointment that he would have faced and whatever reaction was going to be there.
Larry and Lori reportedly did have a happy relationship, for the most part. But in the
On the outside looking in, we never know what's going on in people's inside lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we could say that all day. They looked happy, but you just never know.
The two had begun arguing about finances. Lori had a habit of handing over any money the couple had to her kids from a previous marriage.
Oh, fuck no.
Even driving herself and Larry into debt to do so. And that's without the embezzlement even being factored in. It seems that Larry had no idea Lori had embezzled $500,000 from her business. To this day, law enforcement's working theory is that Lori killed Larry in an attempt to stop him from finding out, and to potentially soften the charges she was facing by garnering sympathy from the judge or jury over the death of her husband.
Ooh, that is some sinister shit.
I have an
That is some wow. That is some crazy shit. You thought you was gonna get empathy from the jury for your husband dying for the death that you caused? That is some sick, twisted shit. I hope they never let her ass out. What do you mean? Like, you been stealing this whole time, and how you cover up the stealing is you gonna kill him? Oh man, this man didn't have a chance.
And I wish it's the one thing I didn't bring.
This man didn't have a chance.
The actual timeline of everything that's there. If you want to meet with your attorney, that would be something that I would bring and show. Because in lieu of you speaking to us, in lieu of us finding out these answers, we have to submit this as is. We have to submit it with what is there. And what is there, Lori, points to a concern of Larry finding out, and in a lack of a better word, taking care of that problem before he did. I mean, I don't want to be tedious like.
He's an asshole. I don't like it.
I don't know what I kind of know what your relationship is like, because man, everybody was like, yeah, it's like perfect. And this should be something for you to be thankful for. You guys were almost, you made people sick the way you like each other.
Except for the last 6 months or so, people said.
Yeah, there was just a difference in the last 6 months.
People noticed the difference.
Which everybody's relationships go through problems.
Facts.
So Lloyd, that is kind of it in a long shot. I'm not going to ask you any further questions because you're related that you want to talk to your lawyer. I will allow, if you have a question regarding the timeline or anything that I mentioned that you would like repeated, I'll be happy to do that for you. Do you have any questions regarding the timeline?
You better not say nothing, because he got your number. And he got your number down to the T.
No. Any questions that outside?
I wouldn't have nothing for you, officer.
How would you like to talk to us with your attorney present? Unfortunately, because we have to record you for him. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Ultimately, Lori was sentenced to 5 years in prison for her embezzlement scheme, during which she was charged with Larry's murder. In 2021, she pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, stating that the drink had been intended for herself to take her own life. The court didn't buy it, and in May of 2021, she was sentenced to life in prison with a possibility of parole after 30 years.
Oh, shit, she ain't got 30 years. Shit.
Our thoughts are with Larry's children, friends, and family, who are deeply affected by the loss of a kind man taken
15 years of marriage. You married somebody for 15 years. 15 years. Just to be murdered. Wow.
far, far too soon.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you for watching.
15 years. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to all my supporters. I love you. And that's it, baby. We out.